Hello, Juanpa. Pura vida, dear. The first one up. Oops. Male 24, Costa Rica. Welcome, Juanpa. So, seems like it's you and I today. That's it. No one else showing up. So, until that. Beyond the Wash says season's greeting from Ireland. Hello there, Mehran. Good to see you. Beyond the Wash says male 30. Patrick here. Hope you are doing well, my Jedi Master. Yes, my dear Padawan. Thank you very much. I'm doing well. A little sore. I went to gym, had a good workout, and had my special protein shake just a few minutes ago. That had lots of good stuff in it. It had blueberries, cranberry, all raw, of course, spirulina, a mix of the macro greens of God knows how many good stuff in there. My protein powder, vegetable with no sugar, and crystallized dried beet from Germany powder, and natural vitamin C from this some plant, I forgot what it is. And what else? That's it. Ah, a banana. I had to have the banana today. So, feels good. Good breakfast. Juanpa says, Mehran, I kissed a girl last night. Well, congratulations. Must be on top of the world. I've always liked her, so it was awesome. Says, but now I texted her and she didn't answer back. Haha, no, don't worry. Don't text her right now and don't expect her. It's obviously maybe something new for her as well, or maybe she doesn't want to make it like, oh yeah, we are this and that, or an item or whatever. She's just being reserved. Who knows what, but just enjoy the wonderful experience, and don't worry about making it permanent right now. Now I gotta do something to make sure it will happen again, that she's mine and all. Just relax, enjoy what it was for what it was, and don't try to make it permanent. If it became longer lasting relationship, great. If it didn't, don't ruin it just because it didn't turn out to be something that I could have it every day. You had an apple, you had a peach, you had some nice fresh fruit from the tree. Enjoy it. Now, you want to ruin that experience of the delicious fruit that you had by saying, I wish to have it tomorrow, the next day. I want to buy the whole, tree and the whole garden. And if it doesn't happen, then you're going to feel terrible, even though you had such a wonderful experience of having tasted that fruit. Now, in this case, pretty much the same as what I tried to explain. So, now let's see, why is it that it's so small? Oh, there it is, bigger window. So, welcome, Patrick and Juanpa. Juanpa says, I guess it was just a one night thing. Yeah, whatever. It was great. Life goes on. Yes. Excellent. Yes. Beyond the Wash, Patrick says, just a quick word of thanks for all your help this year. My pleasure. You're quite welcome, Patrick. And he says, I have learned so much. I am in the arena and working hard. Good for you. Not having much luck with girls. Well, that's happens. Girls are so much sought after. they're not necessarily looking for us. They're just looking for out for their own plans, and they are not worried about if somebody notices them or not, because the world have told them that everybody notices girls, and they have the right to, uh, you know, wait for the one that they feel most comfortable and qualified for them. And whatever they choose doesn't mean it has a reflection on you. It just means that is what they're looking for, and you should be looking for someone who is meeting your standards and at the same time uh, likes you, likes to be with you, get to know you. And he says, not having much luck with girls, but I'm stronger than I've ever been. Yes, and you should be. Why? Because you're probably focusing on your accomplishments, capabilities, independent of a relationship. But what about your life? What about you? How much do you know about you, your own center, who you are, how you've been put together, why you act and react and tick the way you do? These are what you really want to know to be confident. This is where the confidence comes from. You know how confident you are when you are a good mechanic and you're driving your car, and you know what goes on with it. If something goes wrong with it, you can fix it, and you feel so confident about it. Same thing, if you really could know how you're put together and how you can fix if something goes wrong with it. And to be able to fix it, you got to know what the fragments of it are, and how they are matching, and what role they play in making it all work. In the case of your car, your engine; in the case of you, your psyche. So when you understand all these things, then you have a good idea of what confidence is all about. And he says, focused on my mission to get better each day, making more and more music, and very grateful for what life brings. There we go. Now we got some balance, some vision, some reason to appreciate every moment of her life. Otherwise, you're always thinking, why am I, how can I be happy? I have to have this, I have to have that girl, I have to have this relationship, I have to have that car, I have to have this thing to be happy. But make your happiness based on your accomplishments, your vision of what you want your life to be. So that will continue every day, and it will never leave you, because it's yours alone, independent. And you're taking steps to make it come to fruition and accomplish it and realize it. And that is a beautiful feeling of confidence and stability. And another step towards that elusive psychological security. Juanpa, thank you very much for 5,000 Costa Rican. What is the? Let me see. What is the unit of money for Costa Rica? Costa Rica, what? Let me see what CRC stands for. CRC. Nope. Okay. That didn't do it. I gotta learn something. I don't know. CRC, Costa Rican Colon. Aha, Costa Rican Colon. Well, thank you very much for generous super chat. We have a super chat from Juanpa, 5,000 Costa Rica Colon. And Juanpa says, just want to say thanks, Mehran, for all the help since 1 year ago that I joined your channel. It was really life-changing. Ah, there it is, Costa Rican colons, he explains. Thank you very much. Well, I hope you will continue staying with us. Now that you don't have any problem, I hope you don't leave us. And you know that this channel is far beyond just discussions about breakups and em- emotional hardship and so on. And you all know that the whole purpose of this venue, this forum of breakups and discussions, is to trick you all in sharing with you knowledge about how you're put together, your psyche, the role of your thoughts and consciousness in who you are. What is fear? How is it born? How does it affect you? How you can deal with it? How you can understand it? What about desire? What are the steps for desire when it comes to be? Where you can stop desire? What is it trying to do? What is the relationship and what is ego? What does it have to do with how you feel and how you act and react? And by knowing all these ingredients and a lot more about your psyche, I am hoping to share with you and introduce to you who you are, to you. So, this is all a trick to introduce you to this channel, to get rid of your hardship, breakup, and all that, which it does perfectly. But my main purpose is to introduce to you your psyche, to get you to know yourself from the beginning, who you are, how you're put together, how you function, why you feel the way you do, what is thoughts, what is thinking, what is your fears, where does it come from, how to see it, pleasure, the role of pleasure and desire. What is our life all about? What are we doing here? What is energy? What about ego? What about mechanical process? What about order? What is the routine of life? Why do we want to belong to groups? Why do we want to have a routine? Why do we want to have an order? Maybe it's because the mind is not a physical entity and cannot be somewhere in your body the way your fingers and nose and ears are. Therefore, it can't find its security, but it can find it only through an order. That's why you're always looking for order. That's why you feel broken up and disillusioned and agitated and disturbed and distracted when a breakup happens. It's not necessarily because she was the greatest choice for you or he was the greatest choice for you. It was because part of it, big part of it, beyond the fact that you're missing her or him, is that the order, how things were, the routine of your life is now crumbled. And then you find yourself, what's going on? I'm not familiar with this area. It's like you just open your eyes in some location that you don't know where your bearings are. You've never seen that place before. So that is what the order is all about. And that's why it's so important, because our mind finds its security in order of things. It's not a physical thing to say, okay, my mind is secure because I know it's right here. It's right like my wrist or my shoulder. I was going to call this elbow. I said, what the heck? So this is why we're here, to introduce ourselves to ourselves and to understand that we have all created an image of ourselves in our own mind about ourselves. We don't really see ourselves inwardly, how we are, who we are, what we do, what we learned, how we function. We have created an image based on the expectations that societies have from us and the conditionings that we have received in our consciousness since we've been born. And we have created an image of ourselves and expectations and how we would like others to see us as. And then we have created an image of other people. And in the case of relationship, and you have created an image of the girl that you like, or you've created the image of the guy that you like. And now, the image you have of her in your mind and the image you have of you in your mind are having a relationship. You don't have a relationship with that girl. Your images have. That's why you really never know each other. You really don't know each other. You know each other's images. That's why when you're really yourself outside of your image, conflicts and divisions based on the conditionings you've each received in your consciousness will present themselves. And then you wonder, what? I like this girl so much. She was this and that. And she says the same thing about you. But why is it not working? Because you guys were having a relationship between the images, not with yours. This is why it's so important to get to know yourself, who you are, how you're put together, and then try to get to know the other part of you, your partner, and then together try to actually travel on this journey, on this path of a relationship as transparent as you can, without an image. This image is why we get hurt. This image is why we try to protect. The image has become more important than who we really are in actuality. We're all protecting the image. And I've told you many times before in different videos that when you get up in the morning and you come out of your home, when you go to get milk or eggs or whatever it is, or have breakfast, you have an image of a shopper. You have several images during the day. You have an image of a shopper in a store that you're buying bread. Then you come out and you get on a bus, you have an image of a passenger. Now you go to your school, you have an image of a student. You go to your job, you have an image of employee. If you're a boss, you have an image of a boss. If you're a teacher, you have an image of a teacher. If you're driving the bus, you have an image of a bus driver. Then you come out and you go and to visit your mom. You have an image of a son or a daughter. Now you talk to your children. You have an image of a mom or a dad. These images are constantly changing during the day, and you use them according to what it is that you're doing, and you dispose of them and grab another image for what it is that you're about to. It's like a theater. Shakespeare said the most important or the biggest stage is life itself. And it's true. In reality, it's true. Because we're constantly getting into a different role according to what we're doing in this hour or the next. You know? So you go out, you have one image in the store, you have, if you're working in the store, you have an image of a clerk. If you're buying from a store, you have an image of a shopper. You go out in the bus, you go drive your car, you are a taxi driver, or you're a bus driver, or you're a policeman, or however it is, you have different images. And these images are how you know yourself, unfortunately. You become so bamboozled that you really don't know if you're coming or going, who you are with all these images that keep changing. And when it comes to your relationship, you have a relationship with each other's images. That's why it seldom lasts as long as you want it to last. So that is what we are doing here. And that's the trick I've used in order to introduce yourselves to you. And hopefully it's been helpful to you, because once you know yourself, then you can fix it. Fix yourself if you feel this way or that way, because you have understood how to heal yourself, because you understood what you're all about, how you're put together, what makes you tick, what makes you actually function, react, and act, emotions, role of your thoughts in your relationships, and all that. All right, having said that, let's move on to Wampa says, no, I will be tuning every weekend as always. Good, okay. Chris says, hello, Mehran. Hello, Chris. Spent the evening having a drink with a girl last night. But still can't keep the ex out of my head. That's your fault. That's not the evidence. That's not an evidence to how great she is. No, it's your desire, ego, and you got to remember what I said about how desire is born. Many of you, when you break up and you still crave or desire or can't get your ex out of your head, it's not because ex was a real good catch or a good match If she was, why is she not with you? That's the number one criteria. If somebody is a real good catch and a good match, then she would also be loyal to the relationship, want to be with you. If she doesn't, no matter how wonderful she may be, if she doesn't choose to be with you, then therefore she's not the right match for you. That's how you should think of it. Now, why you think that way? Because that is not what you're focused on, if she's the right match or not. Because if you do, you realize that she's not the right match. That was one reason of many reasons that I just shared with you. But what you're focused on is the memory of the steps that it takes for a desire to be born, and the memory of all those steps that have already been satisfied is recorded in your consciousness, and it's available there. So when you think of her for one reason or another, with that memory of her or an event or a memory of some activity you guys had, the rest of the stuff, the prerequisites for desire to be born, to form, which is also recorded and is available in your memory, that file will also come up with that memory that you're trying to enjoy. And when that emotional file containing all those steps necessary for desire to be born comes up, you react to that emotional file because your memory doesn't understand the difference between actuality or memory. You still have the same emotions, and when the same emotions are created, you think it's happening now. And because you think it's happening now, then you think everything is just as it should be, and you desire her. You don't say, oh, these are the steps that I felt when we were together and everything was hunky-dory. And it is not happening now. It happened then. These are the recording of it. You won't feel that way because it's emotional file. And when the emotional file comes up, you react to that emotion. And when that reacting to that emotion happens, that emotion is happening now. Because the emotion, which is based on you're reacting to an emotion that its file, it was in your memory, it came to your attention, but you're now reacting to that file, emotional file. That reaction to you is now, which is true, is actual. That reaction is happening now. And because the reaction is happening now, you think that the actual prerequisites happening now. It's not a reaction to the memory of the prerequisite when it happened before. You think the actual reactions and the actuality of that, all that feeling is also now. It's not a reaction to the emotions that were filed in the memory that you're feeling. You think the actuality of all those actions and prerequisites are now. And then you buy into it. And then you desire, crave her. Now look at the video that I have about desire, the steps of the desire and how to stop it. Then that could help you out. So as soon as something like that happens, Chris and many like you who are having the same question, that your ex comes to your mind and all those memories and then the emotional files for the prerequisites for desire to be born comes out, you quickly will understand where you can stop that desire if you watch the video that I have about desire and how to stop it. Desire and how to stop it. And of course, every time you think about the ex, it is very important for you to focus on the things that were not right between you two. The mind always gravitates toward happiness, good feelings, good memories. That's the kind of characteristics that we human beings have, which is a wonderful thing. We try to forget the bad things, and we bring to the forefront of our memories all the good stuff. So we feel good because our whole life is about pleasure and pain, and we want to be happy. We want to have pleasure. To be happy, you need to be having pleasure, I guess, and then you think about pleasure. So naturally, you won't think about the things that were not right between you two. You will think about the things that were good. And you stick with that because you want to feel secure by constantly going after the good things in your memory about your relationship. But if you want to be realistic, now that the relationship has broken up and is not together, You will focus, as soon as you remember her, you will focus on the stuff that were not right between you two. Whatever it was, the problems. You see then the actuality, the whole ball of wax. You will see the whole relationship, not just fragment of it, which was good here. And then say, oh, I wish I had this. But you, just as soon as you, I wish I had this, okay, that's great. I enjoyed it. That's wonderful memory. But remember, leave it as it is, a memory. Don't crave the whole relationship back, because look at this fragment of the relationship. So many things were going wrong. And that's exactly why we're not together. Because of the many things that were going wrong, we could not resolve it. Every relationship has good stuff. That's not a big deal. But if I want to focus on that, then the question would be, why are we broken up? Because there were more stuff that wasn't resolvable and negative than the positive ones, and you're not together. So somehow that should be a clue for you that she definitely should be considered as a nice memory, but not allowing it to become a desire again for the whole thing, because you haven't focused on the whole relationship in your memory. So refer to all the memories of the bad stuff that you have as well, in order to help you to realize why you're not together and you don't want to be together. All right. That was a long answer for a short comment, wasn't it? And says, it's a bit frustrating now. I didn't find the girl as attractive as my ex. Yeah, because it's not that she's not as attractive as your ex, is because you're desiring the ex for the reasons that I mentioned, the memories that you have, and you have no memories and no pleasurable things to rely back on this new acquaintance. Therefore, you think, oh, she was prettier and all that. And who cares how pretty the girl is? It's important if you guys can bond on consciousness level. I don't care how pretty each one of you are. If you guys cannot be compatible on your consciousness level, then nothing's going to happen, because your relationship with your partner is not based on physical attraction only. The physical attraction is an invitation to get to know each other. That's a catapult. That's a catalyst to make you guys want to get to know each other. But once you do, the relationship actually happens in your consciousness, and the relationship breaks up because the consciousnesses were not able to be compatible. So focus on that, not on how pretty she was. Well, you're a heterosexual guy, and for a heterosexual man, it's just no brainer. You get caught up in the beauty of the woman, and as long as you're turned on because she's pretty or somehow she turns you on, you think, oh, because you're turned on, then she must be a right match. No, being turned on is not an evidence that the girl is the right match for you, because a heterosexual male is turned on by any woman pretty much, because all women are beautiful, or they have something that would be attracted to almost every man. Now, different people have different tastes, and she might or might not be as attractive to this person as much as the other woman is, but nevertheless, it is very easy for a heterosexual male to be attracted to a woman because she turns him on, and he's programmed to be turned on. It's not like she's such an anomaly, such an amazing person that has turned this person on. No, you're turned on by just a woman walking by. So that's not a credit to her. You got to know who she is that has caused this excitement in you. Who she is separate from her attractiveness, her sexuality. When you separate the sexuality of her from who she is as a persona, as a person, her consciousness, then you are in the right path to know if she's the right choice for you, right match or not. Otherwise, if being a right match is that you're turned on, well then more than half of the city are turned on, are the right match for you. All right, let's go. Let's go on to SL. Says, hi, Mehran. Stephen, male, 39, Los Angeles. Hello, Stephen. Good to see you. And Stephen says, I feel the same. I feel like I need to really be. Oops, I lost you guys. I feel I really need to. I feel like I need to really be into a girl now for me to be with her and not compare her to my ex. There we go. I find it hard to believe my ex can move on so quick, but I guess it doesn't matter. Because what the problem is with most of you guys is that you think a woman, just because she's beautiful and she's attractive to you, you're attracted to her, that means she's so wise and smart and beyond this world. Beauty and being attracted to a woman is not an evidence that she's a wise of the world. She's just another human being, another biological entity who has her limitations in figuring out what her life is like, what she wants to be. She's pursuing to figure out how she can improve her life, what is there for her or here for her, what she can find, what offerings she will receive, how she has needs, she has understanding of some sort and limitations of some, like everybody else, like all of us. But the fact that you're attracted to this woman or some woman somehow makes you think that she's so smart, educated, wise, and everything she says is coming from depth of the wisdom and all that. And if she happens to not like me, then that means something that I am. It's all bullshit. You're programmed to be fully attentive to a woman, and that's great and wonderful, and it should be. You should be very respectful and loving and protective of a woman, any woman. But just because you have this feeling and affinity and interest and respect and love and adoring a woman, that doesn't make her, without her actually having made an effort to make something out of herself, to be considered as now her actions and words and decisions are coming from depth of wisdom. No. She's another human being, another biological entity. She has needs, and she has fears, and she has concerns, and she is with you today for one reason and then not with you tomorrow for another reason, but that doesn't mean any of those reasons are from the depth of the wisdom of the universe and you should now suffer or be elated because of it. When you think of her as such a great anomaly, then you have a hard time believing that she can move on. She can move on because she's another human being. She's no angel. And just like you, has concerns and fears and needs and so on, and moves on because she has to survive. And she has some way of thinking. But that way of thinking is not the way of thinking that you should say, oh, her way of thinking is right, my way of thinking is wrong, because she left me, therefore I'm nonsense, or I am this and that, and because she's with me, therefore I'm the king of the world. No, you got to make your being king of the world or nonsense or what on your own, based on your efforts and accomplishments and learnings and so on and experiences in life. And what she does, it's on her. It's not a reflection on you. If you've been a nice, decent man and normal, and then you haven't been abusing her in any way, shape or form, then when she leaves, that doesn't take anything away from you at all. So stop thinking that I can't believe she moved on. Why? What do you think she is? Beyond humanity, beyond a biological entity? So look at her as who she is, a human being, nothing more. Then you'll be okay to understand, well, yeah, she can move on, no big deal. You can move on as well, and no big deal. Nobody tells you you're going to be sitting there. The fact is that you're valuing pleasure and sexual and intimacy so much that you think your whole life is all about that. Therefore, now that you can't have it from her, that means you're not good enough. Then you got to sit and you got to try to get her back. And all that interferes with your ability to have your balance and enjoy building a new life for yourself. And thinking of what this was an experience. That's all. It's not the end of the world. All right, let's go on to Chris. Chris says also, we didn't connect like me and my ex. Yeah, okay. Your ex is not the only one that connect with you the way you guys did. Given your conditions where you were, again, the same way, and another woman shows up, I guarantee you will feel just as the same as you feel for her now. Remember, you had a 16-year relationship, you divorced, came out of that, and you were just all miserable and all that, and you find her. Now imagine if you had found somebody else, just as good looking or meeting your standards, even if it wasn't as good looking as this one. Just let's go that far. Because of where you were and what you were needing, and your psyche was trying to find itself, stay afloat, you would have grabbed onto this other girl instead of the one that you met, and you would have felt the same cohesiveness, same needs, and the same importance you would have given to her as you did to this one. And if that hadn't worked out either, then you would have felt just as the way you feel with this one. It's not because she's this beautiful or you're comparing. It's because you have had this experience, this where you were, how it affected you, the need that you had. She came along and it filled a gap, filled a void, filled something you needed, the vacuum, and all, helped to you used her in a way of, not a bad way, but everybody, in a way is got use for each other. So the use of her along with other things was for you to repair yourself. And that created a certain kind of a bonding and a dependence on. So if she wasn't her and it was somebody else, you would have felt the same way if it was a decent relationship. And you would have even felt stronger about her. Why? Because this one came with lots of different baggage that we talked about it. And lots of different, personal agenda that we talked about it. So if you think about all those, you will see that, then just because you think of her, that's not an evidence that she's the best of the best. It just means that's where she was able to be helping you to patch your problems and your emotional hardship at the time. And that's where the cohesiveness, that's where the bonding took place as far as you were concerned. But for her, it wasn't. That's why she could go on. Yeah? This one, if it was another girl that you had met, you would have felt the same way. And perhaps even far more, because she could have been more qualified than this one. This one wasn't really qualified. It was something that you could use to rejuvenate yourself from the problems that you were facing. If she was really more qualified, with behavior that you guys could digest better, and with not the number of kids that she brought into the package, you would have been, more involved and more missing her more than you think you missed this one. So give it time, build a relationship with somebody else, give it enough time as you did to this one, and it will be harder for that other girl to impress you because you're now healed, pretty much. Healed from the 16-year-old marriage that you broke up, and you were feeling the need. That's why you didn't really qualify this one. As long as she looked fine, you had a propensity toward gravitation towards her. But now that you feel okay, you're not even thinking about the first one. But the first one is a big problem, right? 16 years, that was a devastation. But you're not thinking about her anymore, are you? You're thinking about this one. Now, don't you think that the same thing will happen after a while? You won't even be thinking about this one. You will be thinking about the next one that you're going to meet. So be patient. Move on and continue. And don't be so dogmatic about, oh, this new one is not the same as that one. Well, who cares? Might be even better given the chance. All right. Simrita says hello. Hello, Simrita. Simrita says my partner. What happened to the protocol? Simrita. Gender, age, where you tuning in from. These are the three little things that I need to know. Simrita says my partner has already moved on and is getting married to someone else. Okay. So big deal. Was she the only one? Oh, last I checked, it was like 7 billion people on this earth. So I think there'll be a few other women or men. I don't know what. I can't tell your gender here from this little small thingy. That's why I need gender, age, and where you guys tuning from. So at least I know kind of who I'm talking to. So last I checked, there are more people in this world than the one that you are thinking right now. So Samrita, where is the info that I requested, please? So we go to the next one. Chris says, I watch it. I guess we all have moments thinking about the past and only the good times. It's about making new good times. There you go. There you go. And there's no shortage of that. Remind yourself of all these. Sarah says, a few weeks ago, Sarah, what happened to protocol? Let's go back down here. I think I saw it. Sarah, female, 37, London. All right, there we go. You got your cover charge. Come on in. The disco is open. I remember when I passed through London from one of my trips, having gone back home for summer, was on my way back to my university in Portland, and I stopped in London for 4 nights. There was a new hotel called the Penta Hotel. I think it was the one belonged to one of the airlines. It was a nice, beautiful, posh hotel at the time. And I was a young kid in, I don't know, second year in university, and I was traveling by myself, so I wanted to go to a few discos. And boy, London has beautiful discos. Many of them, many entertainment centers. So it was enjoyable. So they all had a cover charge. But I remember I had gone to a store during the day to buy some nice new design shirts that I really liked. Lots of little designs on them. It was nice. So I bought a few, and they asked me, what you're traveling. I said, well, I'm going back to school. And I said, I'm here 4 days. So they said, oh, well, if you want to have a enjoyment, if you want to go disco, there's disco. You just give them our name and they won't charge you cover charge. So every time I said cover charge, I remember the hospitality I received from the merchants in London. And I went to this disco, a very nice, interesting disco, the good time, good music and so on, good atmosphere, and no cover charge. So the cover charge here is age, gender, where you guys tuning in from. So at least that would be the, now you've paid the cover charge. Let's go and see what you have to say. And Sarah says, hello, Mehran. Sorry, I'm a little late joining. I hope you're well. Thank you very much. It's not a classroom, Sarah. You can join anytime you want. But then, oh, I forgot to say, whoever is late must pay €100. Did I say that right? Let's see how gullible you guys are. If that was the case, I would have a bunch of €100 coming in. But the wrong crowd. Now, Sarah says, a few weeks ago, I tried to ask a question, but for some reason, I could not post it. It kept showing in a gray color. You said to try again next time. So here it goes. Okay. Sarah says, as advised last time, I'm having a very difficult time letting go an ex. Okay. It has now been almost 2.5 years. Oh, holy macaroni. 2.5 years. We didn't break up in a way where the relationship was bad. We didn't break up in a way where the relationship was bad. Bad best when it ended. What? All right. See, my memory is that it was the love of my life and that it abruptly ended. The ex-wife started to play mind game. Sarah continues, and use such manipulations and major guilt trip, and even used their 4-year-old child to make him consider going back. He first said no, but then caved in and went back. I'm heartbroken and still miss him and long for him and the future we planned. We were to get engaged. All right. Sarah says, he lived very close to me and I see them from time to time. It hurts as they have moved on and seem to be making their marriage work. All right. Wish them well and move on, because that's a carriage with a broken wheel. You're focusing on all the 3 wheels that are working, but you're not noticing that the 4th wheel need to also be working, and it's not. So wish them well, let them go on their limpy way, and free yourself from it, expecting that should be just as good as a carriage with 4 wheels. It doesn't. It's got hung-ups, it's got an ex-wife with a child, and wish them well, because it is better for that child to have their mom and dad together. So forget about your desire, because it's all that desire, and you can replace him with somebody else, I assure you, because you're not going to remain the same. Your consciousness dynamically changing, and you will change if you allow it, and not dogmatically try to create a saint out of this relationship and stuck to it like a religion, that it's a sin if I let it go. No, it's not a sin. It's not working. It's lame, and it should have your blessing for them to take care of the child. The child will have a better life if they're both together. If you look at it this way, you have not, wasted your time. You actually allowed this to be a catalyst for him to, or for the ex-wife to, whatever she did, manipulate or whatever, to bring him back to where his original promise was. And the original promise was to that woman with a child. The fact that you're beautiful and you created a distraction for the guy, well, yeah, but you should simply let it go, because it's better for that kid. And you can easily find another man if you simply open your eyes and qualify them. If you can qualify a guy who came into you without having made peace with his own past, well, I'm sure you can find other candidates who would probably suit you even better. So stop putting your desires ahead of some more important task, and that's the child's life. Let them go, let them be together, and cut your mind out. You can do far better. Someone with no hang-ups, no ex-wives, no child, that it will all be a good package for you. Simple. Don't you respect yourself? Don't you expect good for yourself? You expect to try to fix some problems? Just imagine how that would have turned out. Okay, the child come and go here and there to the mother, and the mother always there, and all kind of things pulling him away because of the child, and that's going to continue. Just let it go. If the guy couldn't make his decision and made a different decision, right or wrong for you, but he did, then let it be. Let it be and move on and look after yourself and find a better candidate for yourself. This was not the right choice for you. So look at it that way. Be at peace with it. And thank your stars that you didn't have to go through this any longer than you had to. And he made up his... What if he would have made up his mind 5 years from now? Just divorce you and go back to her. Not because of her, because of the child. Probably that's why, he did what he did. So, and he's a product of his own consciousness and his own, beliefs and customs and religions and all that, and guilts and so on. So now that's how it was going to be for you, which you have been blessed to be free from it now. And let him go. Wish him well. Wish yourself well. And go on. There's nothing there for you to wish for. What? Just move on. Don't pay attention. All right. If you want to talk to me, go on my site, mind@6truth.com. Make an appointment on Talk to Mehran via Skype, and we'll discuss it further in detail. Otherwise, this should be enough. I think you should free yourself from this because that's the best choice for you. You know it too. You just don't want to let go because you don't want to let go. Go socialize, and there's so many other people out there who would be more than happy to get to know you and then qualify them. Dawn says, hello, lovely Mehran. Hello, lovely Dawn. And good evening, everyone. Hope you're well, all well. Yes, thank you very much. Hope everyone is well. And we have a kind of a foggy day here, but it's kind of bright, not raining. And good of you to join us, Dawn. Let's go to Sarah says, and to make it worse, and found out they had baby number 2. Ah, there you go. It's not worse. It frees you even further. Makes you more free. It has been 3 months since I found out, but now I feel like we have broken up all over again. Ah, because you didn't have the guts to respect yourself from the beginning and break up with him as soon as things actually went south and you guys were broken up. Holding on to what? You should have let him go to begin with. As soon as some challenges of that sort was coming out, you should have seen it, that it's not going to be a smooth ride. Every relationship, marriage, has enough in and out tides, enough challenges. Let alone if you got an ex-wife and a child and all the guilt and feeling and back and forth and needs and manipulations and stories. So you got to be jubilant right now that you just simply dodged the bullet. That wasn't the right thing. And good, you should be happy. Instead of praising your memory, look for new events now in reality, rather than living in the death of the past, which is your memory. And you're just constantly in there. What are you doing in there for? There's nothing real there. It's all dead. Go on and live your life and meet new people, qualify them, and see if they're suitable for you, and then build a new life. You're hanging out for what? Some idiots' decisions or mistakes or infatuations, temporary, whatever it was. Whatever it was, it was. Go on now. Move on. How long are you going to hang around? For what? Sarah says, I feel so stuck and so devastated. No, there is no devastation. It's your thoughts that telling you should be devastated. Why? You should tell your thought, why should I be devastated? Jack, why? Because you're conditioned to think that, oh, this goes against all my ego, that I am not good enough, that he went back to his wife and this and that, and I have been trained to want something, and if I desire something and my ego is not fluffed and I don't get the desire, the pleasure of what I desire, then I should be devastated because that's what I'm conditioned to be. No, why should you be devastated? Rise above all these neediness, trying to pamper your fragments of your psyche. No, simply be the boss of your psyche. Not let the ego to be your boss or desire to be your boss. They are fragments of your psyche. You should be the boss of them. So you say to the ego, shut up. That's nothing to write home about. The guy was married and couldn't be free and had a child. So if I weren't seeing it right, the nature hit me on the head to see it right. That wasn't the right choice for me. Don't think about the fact that the guy left and you feel bad about it. You say, thank God I couldn't see it, but now the nature took care of it and got them out of my way. Now you can go and find somebody that is really qualified for you. And so I feel so devastated. Yeah, you just programmed to be devastated. So no, I don't want to be devastated. Tell your thought, no. I'm not going to think that I missed something. I didn't. Because the logic tells me that wasn't going to be good for me. So why should I turn something that is not good and insist that it should be good? Just be balanced, reasonable. It wasn't. So let it go. And says, I'm angry at fate and why I am the one after 2.5 years still struggling. You're angry at the fate? Fate actually was on your side. If fate wasn't on your side, you would have been stuck with the guy, married the guy, then you would have gone through the shit that you're going through, or you think you're going through right now. It would have been a continuous thing. This, right off the bat, fate came forward, if you want to call it that, and told you, listen, this is not the right one. I'm going to break this up because you don't seem to have the guts to break it. I'm going to do it for you. And sometimes nature does that. When we don't see it correctly, clearly, nature makes a decision. Says, universe says, listen, you know what? God damn it, you're stupid enough. You can't see it. You're not wise enough. I'm going to make the decision for you. I'm going to cut this relationship off. Despite of the desire that you have, and you think you found the right one. No, I don't think so, because you know what? 5 years from now, you're going to see what I'm seeing it. But I am on your side, so I'm going to make the decision for you. So sometimes it happens, and it did. So you got to go be jubilant. You got to go actually, whatever it is, give some money to the needy and help them out as a appreciation of what really has inspired here and set you free. And Sarah says, I feel cheated by life. No, you were giving a second life. It depends how you look at it. I almost got my happy ever after. Really? So your happiness would be with someone who already got an ex-wife with a child, and that's going to be your happy? You really don't expect much, do you? Or you're a masochist. You would prefer a turbulence sea with a small boat than a real, nice, smooth one. I think you should go count your stars and thank the fact that the universe was backing you up and, having your back, and made sure that you will not be submerged into something that you couldn't come up for air. And he says, taken away just like that by a woman whose character and morals can be questioned. No, the character's moral of that woman could be questioned, but if the guy has gone back to her, could be a couple of reasons. One, for the kid, which is good. Let him go. The kid has more right than you and him put together at this age. Or the guy is fine with that kind of a characteristic of that woman, which makes him disqualified. If he's okay with that kind of woman, what the heck does he do with you? You're not that kind of woman, are you? So why is it that you think it's okay for a guy who's okay with a woman of lesser desirable social behavior and manners to also be okay with you? You're okay with the guy who's okay with that kind of a woman to be with you? Then what does that tell about you? That means you're in the same category as that other woman, right? Because you're okay with the guy who's okay with her, and you accept this guy just like if you are the same as her. Why should you be okay with a guy who's okay with that kind of woman to be with you? Don't you have any respect for yourself? Standards? So what is it that makes this guy a great guy for you? If he's okay with that kind of manner, well, you're not that kind of a woman or that kind of a manner, so you should not be okay with a guy who's okay with that kind of a woman. But if he's, so for that reason, you shouldn't want him. If he's there because of the kid, then you should give him the blessing. Let him go and take care of what his number one responsibility is, to be a father to that child. And you don't want to be part of it, that that child didn't end up to have his father wholly, fully. Capiche? I hope you understand. No, what you need to understand is what I just said, and you replay this for yourself for this part. All right. Yeah, you think you had no issues, but there was a bigger issue. Just because you don't see the issue doesn't mean there was no issue. I can see you here. You say, please do answer my question, which I did. I know it's long, but I'm struggling so much, so I did. And then lastly, she says, meaning it was at its best when it ended, meaning we had no issues. Yes, you did have issues. The issues was so big that you pretended it doesn't exist because you couldn't solve it. The issue was so grave that neither one of you could even see anything else other than ignoring it, because that's the only way you could have gotten rid of it. And you did. When you ignored it both in the layers of pleasure and momentary desires of whatever you two thought it was, you simply ignored the biggest issue that was there. And because you ignored it, you thought it doesn't exist. But because it did exist, it surfaced. At one time, it would have anyhow. You're lucky that it surfaced now, 2.5 years ago, but you're still stuck with it. You shouldn't have. You should have gone further by understanding that this was the way it should have been, because you would be happier if you wouldn't have been any part of a child not having his father. It's his duty and the mother's duty to get along, because the child comes first. And now you can be part of the angels, that you simply did not interfere and you move on to another choice, rather than wanting the child to sacrifice what is his right to have his parents with him and to gain something that you really never knew how long it would have lasted anyhow. And for sure, it lasted what? As soon as some issues about the ex and the child came together. So be happy about how things went. Be free from it, because you have no guilt now. You're free and blessed to go and do whatever it is you want to achieve in life. And definitely you will have other men if you just open your eyes and open the gate. Allow them to come and get to know you, rather than being so focused on this, what it was, which was really nothing suitable. It shouldn't have been. You shouldn't have even started it, but you did. But then it's all fixed up now. All right, let's go on to Kiki. Have I missed anything here? Oh, I have missed a bunch here. So let's go back to where it was. Chris says, I know you're going to tell me off, Mehran, but really miss my ex and the times we had together. Yeah, of course you do, because right now you're having a selective memory. You choose the good parts of a broken relationships because that will give you pleasure, and our life is based on pain and pleasure. Who wants to remember pain? Nobody. So when you are thinking about a breakup, you naturally have the propensity and gravitate toward bringing up the memories that were pleasant. And that's what you're doing. I can't get over the lovely memories. Yeah, because you're selecting those. Why don't you select the shitty ones? The problem ones. Do I have to remind you about, you wanted to have a house, you didn't? That's a big no-no. Like, you wanted to have a house with her, she didn't. She wanted to pay rent to her mom. And the 3 kids, can you figure that out? No pleasure worth the responsibility of 3 kids when you are not really having chosen them, but it was chosen for you because of your neediness, necessity of that moment. You wanted the girl, you got 3 kids with it. And she didn't want to have a house with you, she wanted to keep paying rent to her mom's house. What does that tell you? There's something wrong there, right? And then as soon as things weren't working out, or eventually, whatever reason you want to blame yourself or whoever, she, an almost 40-year-old woman with 3 kids, is shacked up or getting married to a 23-year-old boy. Need I say anything more? So, I'm gonna begin to charge you guys for such life-saving recommendations, because I don't think that you guys will appreciate what I'm telling you when it's free. You guys are all accustomed, human beings accustomed, to pay for things before they actually respect the information. Because these live talks are free, you guys seem to think that you keep having to have the same problem in your heads. But what I'm asking you is to focus on the problems of the relationship, not on the pleasures of the every relationship has certain pleasures, but those pleasures are just part of the relationship. You got to look at the whole entirety of the relationship, and not based on what brings you pleasure to decide on the whole scope of the relationship. Now, I actually didn't tell you off, but now I do. And he says, yes, it just takes time, I guess. No, it doesn't. It takes time if you want it to take time. If you don't have the guts to let go and respect yourself, honor yourself, and honor your life, and appreciate your life, the chance you have been given to build something, and you're just between the legs of some broken relationship and you can't get out of it. That's not having respect for your life. That's not having respect for the chance that you had to be born in this world and experience whatever it is to experience. You tried, it's not working. Have a nice day. Next, move on to build and continue responsibilities as best as you can. And now we go to Mehran. Mehran says, Sir, just found your video. Holy macaroni, why just now? Am I so difficult to be found? I am going through a breakup and I feel devastated. the thing is, she has been hurting me past breakups, post breakups, but want to be friends. Should I be friend or block and try moving on? Block and try moving on, free of charge. Anything more than that, you gotta go on my site, mindthat6truth.com. Make an appointment to talk to me on Skype. And of course, as you guys know, for an hour session, I'll give you 1 hour free. So you'll have 2 hours for the price of 1 hour. And that is the best I can do for now. And soon, I think I should get onto my senses and spend less time for more money. No? But you know, that's not how we operate here. Anyhow, you have lots of support on this channel. You're not alone. Recently, I've put up a short 4-minute video, which I hope that will be our advertisement on YouTube. I'm trying to set up some kind of advertisement on YouTube channels for our channel. And if you haven't seen it, go take a look at it. It's 4 minutes. It tells you what this channel is entailed, what it's trying to do. We have almost 2,000, close to 2,000 videos that entails, that it talks about anything that you come up with under the sun after your breakup. About your breakup, we've got a video on it. Just go on my search engine, put in the word or how you feel. There should be a video or 2 or 10 about it. And then we have over 500 live talks and counting every Friday, 12 noon Vancouver time. Most Fridays, if not all, for the past few years. Now it's, what is it, number 5, what is it, 406 or something, about 500 of them, I think, with many of them that are not listed here and there. So you can use those to help yourselves. And then, of course, there are videos that we have about your psyche, how it's put together, how it is, what it is mean to focus on the role of desire, pleasure, ego, fear, thoughts, consciousness. Knowing about yourself will help you to deal with whatever it is that you're dealing with. And this channel has it all for you, and mostly free. And if it wasn't enough, you can go on my site, mindthat6truth.com, and click on Talk to Me for consultation, and you can purchase the books or the ebooks, whichever suits your budget, or make an appointment for Skype, or for a nominal fee, you can send your special situation, write it, and I will record something between 4 to 8 minutes recording, respond to your email. That's a paid email through my site, and I will email that recording back to you. So you have lots of support. You're not alone, but the best one, of course, is the one through Skype. You book a session with me, and we'll talk on Skype what's concerning you one-on-one at a convenient time for both of us. All right. Now, having said that, Mehran says, sir, just found your video. I'm going through a breakup and feel devastated. Things that are okay now. It says, should I move on or block her? Yeah, block her and move on. Don't worry about it. Be friend with what? You were friends, acquaintance, friend, a little bit more, and then relationship, breakup, and boyfriend, girlfriend in a relationship, and then you break up. So now, what do you want to be friends? Start all over? It won't happen. This is a new friendship that won't get anywhere. And usually, friendship between boys and girls usually wants to get somewhere. So therefore, I don't think that would be the case. Free yourself and move on. All right, let's see. So guys, if you haven't liked the live talk, please do click on like. It helps the algorithm to recognize us. As you can see, we have a content second to none. We help everyone from every walk of life here, and we've been so good for the past many years. We've been doing this, but people hardly find this channel. For the life of me, I don't know why, but whatever it is, we need your help to like, make comments. Any video that you watch, make a comment, and I will always respond. As you can see from all the comments for the past 6 years, pretty much 99.9% of the comments, unless I've missed some, you have my direct response. So to make a comment and click on like and on every video, and that will help the algorithm to recognize us. Maybe eventually the world will find us, and so nobody comes along and says, oh, it's been 3-4 months and I've been watching all other videos and they don't help, and now I stumbled on yours. Well, I said, well, 3-4 months, why couldn't I be shown? There's a reason. I don't know why. So counter it by liking the videos, sharing the videos, and making comment on the videos that you watch. And I would appreciate that. All right. Luana Kiki says, hi, Mehran. Hello, Luana. What is happening with nowadays relationships? There is so much instability, temptation everywhere. In this manner, it is difficult to build a solid, traditional, functional family. Yes, because the whole world has been pushing on pleasure. And they have turned life to mean nothing but through pleasure. Our whole life is based on pain and pleasure anyhow. That's the nature of human being. But promoting it so heavily, pleasure will overshadow almost everything else and every other reason that we human beings have to live and construct, build wonderful journey. And we have been brainwashed to condense it all, that this journey is all about pleasure. And they're promoting that pleasure and making it so readily available and so easily acceptable and so limitless. Even if you're content, you're promoted to go on for something else as well. Greed, pleasure, pleasure, pleasure. And you can't you can't take pleasure with you when you leave out of this life. You must have a quality, not just pleasure. Pleasure is not an asset. Pleasure is a momentary feeling that makes you escape from the real actuality of life that you're trying to build. A certain amount of pleasure is necessary, and we all have that. But turning it into continuous pleasure as if pleasure is the only reason for our lives and living and only mandate that we have, we've come here to just pleasure. And then no wonder everybody's trying to escape through pleasure instead of building something and being positive for the society and the world and helping each other and making sense of it all. We're all focused on trying to make the least amount of sense we can out of this whole thing, and we escape towards pleasure in order to create that oblivious atmosphere that we don't want to know anything, because at the time of pleasure we think we need nothing else to be done. We need to accomplish nothing else because pleasure has overshadowed everything else. And when I have pleasure, I don't think I need anything else, and at the same time I have everything, and at the same time I have nothing, and I don't care. That's the effect of pleasure on us, and that's why we escape, because we're constantly greedy, trying to get this, that. Unless I have this and that and so forth and so forth, I'm not happy. And so how can I be happy when I can't get all these things that I'm being promoted to have to go for and get it in order to be happy? So I'm going to go and get a pleasure to be happy, because when I get a pleasure, I don't need to do any of these, accomplish any of these, or try for any of these, because through pleasure, I'm happy. I'm happy in the state that I don't think I need to do anything else to be happy, because that pleasure gives me happiness. So pleasure becomes the goal of my life. And that's why people are constantly going for pleasure, and going pleasure for stupid things. Overly drinking, drugs, all escape, but none of them give you anything of substance or lasting, of elation of any kind, or health or rejuvenation. No, it's all disasters for you. Some of these pleasures, and they're good pleasures that you can have, but again, too much of that also is not beneficial. I mean, sex, intimacy is amazing pleasure, the most sought after pleasure in life, physical, of course. But even too much of that is going to take away from the experience of life, and you can't really focus on anything else because you'll be addicted to that. So there should be moderation in everything. Not in drugs and alcohol. Maybe alcohol a little bit okay here and there, but nothing of the substances that could, affect your health and natural course of our existence, brain cells and everything else. But certain amount of pleasure is part of life, and that's great. But promoting it the way they're doing it, it overshadows everything else, including relationships. People are never satisfied with one commitment. So they go to this, and as soon as it gets a little bit needs attention and compromising and communication and understanding and exploring and analysis and all that, they say, hey, why don't I give up this one and start with somebody else who doesn't know anything about me and I don't know anything about them, and I go through the same shit until it gets to a certain stage and I divorce that one, break up with that one and go to the next one. Because that's how they think they are negotiating life, because they haven't focused on how they can actually make a relationship work, because they have set all the relationship based on physical intimacy and physical interest and physical things, including money, car, house, this and that, looks and intimacy and all that. That's the shell and the complete story of the relationships that they think that the relationship is all about. They've forgotten all about their consciousness and understanding each other's fears, understanding each other's desire, the role of pleasure, the role of ego in their behavior toward themselves and toward the world and toward their lives and toward each other, about their thoughts and consciousness, how their conditioning has taken place in their consciousness, what is the role of their mechanical processes and the orders that they have created. They know nothing of that. They don't know anything about their own persona. They're like mechanical living. They go to work, get money, go eat and do this, go to vacations. They don't understand anything more than the physical things and the pleasures that they have created to distract them from the quality of life and understanding of life. And therefore, when they don't understand themselves in their own psyche, they have no idea who the other person, their partner, is. And soon enough, the physical things become monotonous. The mechanical things does not stimulate their brain anymore, because once something is mechanical, then it makes the brain dull. When your life, which has become mechanical based on all the traditions, all the things that have been happening over and over and exactly the same, even if you change something, you change from this to that, but it's the same concept. You change your religion, no longer in this religion, you're in a different religion. You think you've made a change. You made a change from this to that, but they're both still religion, the same concept. So when you haven't made any of these new things and haven't paid attention to bonding on conscious level and stimulating each other and following a mechanical life, the life becomes monotonous, mechanical. It doesn't stimulate the brain. The brain becomes dull, and when the brain becomes dull, it feels it's in jail. It's in a box, and it wants to get out of it, and then tries to make changes. And the relationship, when it's not stimulating, when they are not challenging, it's all mechanical. It also dulls their brains, and they think it's the relationship that has dulled it. So they think maybe I should change the relationship in order to make my life fresh, rather than thinking that it is them who have made their life dull by focusing on only physical things in life and not paying attention to the development of the mind and the consciousness, and therefore their life has become mechanical, and through mechanical their brain has become dull. And when it becomes dull, they can't really be happy, they can't really be stimulated and feel alive. Therefore, they think it's something wrong with the relationship. I break this up and go start somewhere else, and it's all the same process, but for a while I think I'm happy because there are things I gotta find out about the other person. And before you know it, that mechanical system also gets to its plateau, and then you keep doing the same thing. This is why relationships don't work, because everybody's life has become mechanical, no stimulation, no challenge, no sharpness on the brain, and they feel that they are blocked and they are boxed in, and they keep trying to change one mechanical process to another mechanical process, hoping that it will bring mental sharpness. That's why it doesn't work. Whew. Loana, you shouldn't have asked that question, I guess. Lana says, Tinder is a fashionable relationship destroyer. Well, I don't even know how that works. Maybe I should try it. What do you think? Mike Dutra says, hello again, Mehran, male 33 from Boston. Ooh, Boston. Reminds me of Boston cream at Tim Hortons here in Canada. Every time we went to martial art practices with my son when he was like very little, after that we would stop at Tim Horton and get Boston cream and come home and enjoy it. So Boston has more meaning than one for me. Mike says, my ex-fiance, 28 years old, female, left me 2 months ago after a 3-year long-distance relationship. Long-distance relationship, forget that. I traveled to Brazil 3 times and lived with her there for 15 months. Yeah, okay. And Mike says, we were recently approved for a fiancé visa so she could live in US with me. 2 weeks after we were approved, she told me she met someone else and they are already intimate. Oh my goodness. Some of you guys do so much for a woman just because she looks pretty or just because you have a need for intimacy. I'm asking you, whether you are a man or a woman, you're looking for a partner, try to keep intimacy separated from the persona of that partner. You gotta know that partner is not represented by his or her intimacy or sexuality. That partner is represented by his or her consciousness. For that reason, you got to know that persona and then see your relationship with that persona is advisable or not based on, she turns you on or he turns you on and or whatever else that is involved, and then it's good enough then. No. And then you do so much and then you'll be disappointed. Get to know them. See if they deserve the attention that you're paying to them. I don't care if you're a man or you're a woman, whatever your relationship is, you got to, if you want to select, then select it correctly, not based on one fragment of the existence and representation of the entity that you want to be in a relationship with. No, check out the whole fragments before you commit to that whole thing that you're trying to build, and then be disappointed, oh, she just met somebody else and left. Okay, if that's the kind of a girl that just like this after 3 years, so is constantly looking for what's the best deal, you should have known that. Why? Because you didn't. Why you don't? Because you didn't focus on who she is. You focused on how her legs and her body and her looks is, which is important, of course, for everybody. Women look for what is appropriate representation of the aesthetics of a man that they're interested in, and the men are doing the same for the woman. Whatever your relationship type is, you are only unfortunately focusing on the physical stuff, physical being, physical possessions, whatever, instead of really focusing on who that persona is. Then you will not make these extraordinary efforts before you're convinced that you're all committed. All right, and he says, Mike says, I invested so much time, money, and energy. I know my desire for pleasure is making it hard to move on, but I am also realizing I actually loved her personality as well. How could you love a personality as someone which part of that personality is the fact that she's going with somebody else? I am amazed when you guys talk about personality, suddenly, conveniently, you put away the part that actually is clearly showing her personality. But you're not focusing on that. You're focusing on other things that is not negative for you, for your purposes. What are you trying to be her advocate? What is it that you're trying to accomplish here? You got to be fair to yourself. She was not honest, and she was not faithful, and she was not deserving the attention and the plans that you had. You were so available. Obviously, she didn't have enough confidence in herself that she thought because you're so available and so attentive, therefore she might be too good for you. Which is now she's going to find out, I guess. Or, some women are like that. They're looking for some better deals here and there. And some men are also the same, looking for, here and there. They're not easily respecting what it is that makes a relationship work, and they're not committed to one. Now, let's move on now. Dawn says, I am in a being single is crap mood today. Yeah, some days that happens, doesn't it? But focus on the other days that you say, I'm delighted that I'm single. You're probably thinking that, you just want intimacy. That's the part that you're focusing on. Otherwise, if you focus on the rest of it, you may soon decide, oh, no, it's okay. I like to be single. Who knows? All right, now. But some days it could be like this. Just like some days it's cloudy and some days it's sunny. Of course, in Vancouver, most often it's cloudy. Same in UK, I guess. But again, it's relative. SJ says, my ex and me broke up a few weeks ago. He kept coming. Come on, guys, help me out here. I can't tell from the initials if you're man or woman. I can't tell your gender by that, so I really don't know how to work it out while I'm reading the story. So please, be good. Focus on the protocol, age, gender, and where you're tuning in from. Gender, age, where you're tuning in from. Male, female, or whatever your gender is represented by, age, and where you're tuning in from. So, in this way, I really don't know if I'm talking to a man or a woman here. SJ, my ex and me broke up a few weeks ago. He kept coming back every 2 weeks trying to work it out. No, he was coming back every 2 weeks for sex. It lasted 2 years. I'm only 18. Oh my goodness. And I'm so confused and heartbroken. Well, he's been using you. How old was he? You're only 18. It lasted 2 years. That means you started this relationship when you were underage. I hope you had your parents' or guardians' approval of this relationship. That's why it's important for me to know your age before I start commenting, guys. Come on. SJ, let me know your age, please, and where you're tuning in from. Otherwise, I just move on because it's if I don't have that information, I can't make comments. I need to know your age, guys, to tailor the response according to your age. Sarah says, thank you, God bless you. You're quite welcome. Ella says, hello, Ella. Luna says, good evening, Mehran. Hope all is well. Female, 35 UK. Hello, Luna. Au clair de la lune. Danielle says, hey, Mehran, it's been a long time since the breakup, 5-6 months now, and I still notice my ex stalking my social media, such as Spotify and even Reddit. She's been dating someone else for 5 months now. Okay, so what? Doesn't matter what she does. You focus on your life. Don't pay attention. She looks happy from her social media, so why does she keep tabs on me? Who cares? social media, 5 second, one picture. Ha ha ha. And that means what? The whole life is represented by that one shot. Social media is just moments you want to share with your friends. That's it. It's not supposed to be a determining factor how your life or somebody's life is going or not going. Everybody's. Have you seen anybody in a picture that looks like this? Everybody goes out there to make a smile. So naturally, it's going to represent them in a good light. But it's not supposed to be a representation of what their life is all about every day, even when they're off camera. So, and Daniel says, and no, I can't block her on those things, lol. Okay. And Don says, Lola, I've been single a long time and it's boring. I have lots of guys at work who are interested in me, but the feeling isn't mutual. I want companionship and a meaningful relationship, not just sex. Okay, all right, all right. All right, I stand to be corrected. Then you must be fussy. Then there we go. Let's see. Here it is. She says, I'm very fussy about who I get involved with. There we go. Not many sincere guys around these days. Yeah, true. Also, not many sincere girls around these days, you know. Everybody's looking for, again, only a fragment of what relationships is all about, which is the intimacy or fun or pleasure. But what you're looking for is a whole package, which it needs a little bit more investigation and search, I guess. And SKC Beats says hip hop and rap instruments says, hi Mehran, 31, male UK. Thank you for the advice a few days. You're quite welcome. I'm delighted that you're feeling better, and I hope that you have continued your visits and care of your GP, your psychologist, psychiatrist, and make sure that, you know, they do, I don't know, whatever it needs to be done to talk to you, or maybe some blood tests to see if there's any chemical imbalance in the blood or anything like that, so you can make sure that at least what you have to deal with is not clinical. A problem is just maybe a mentality or egoistic or whatever else problem it could be. But make sure you be in contact with your doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, and inform them and let them help you out. And then when you've done all that and you're satisfied that you're under their care, then you can obviously contact my channel and watch the videos, or maybe talk to me on Skype if you like to, so we can talk about non-medical stuff, and then we help get you sorted out as best as possibly we could. And Luna says, can you please shine some helpful advice on how to go about filling an empty emotional void of loss and sadness after breakup? You don't want to fill it. You just want to go on focusing on the things that life has to offer. The problem with breakup, people who are having a hard time breakup, because they're constantly trying to fix the breakup. What could I have done so it wouldn't have taken place? What should I do now that I don't have that? Instead of focusing on why I don't want to have that, what I don't have and I don't want to have it, let me focus on the reasons that I don't want to have them. Let me focus on the things that I actually can accomplish and find in this life and in this journey that I'm taking, instead of constantly living in the past and turning my life into death of the past. This is the problem. Otherwise, you don't have to try to fill anything. That's what it was. It's not a vacuum to fill. It's just done, finished, dead, non-existence. The problem is not filling. The problem is you keep looking at what is not there and trying to say, oh, where is it? Well, it's not there. And you move on to things that are there, to possibilities, to things that you can accomplish. Why should I try to be running in a place where there is no space to run? And say, I can't run here, I can't. Well, open the bloody window, go to the track, and then run. because there's a space. And this is about your life. Life has running a space. You're not using it and you're wondering why you can't run, because you've closed the doors. Open the door, go on the track and run. Focus on the things that are possibilities for you in this life, and focus on the wonderful things that are presenting themselves to you every day. And instead of not noticing them by looking away from something that is no longer there, you're missing everything else that is there. It's like there are a bunch of horses tied up there, all saddled up for you, and you're constantly looking at the horse that was in the other stall, in the other place, but it's not there today. And you're saying, I can't ride. Yeah, you can't ride with something that is not there. Forget about that. It's not worthy of you riding it because it's not there. And if it's not there, it doesn't qualify for you to want to have that horse. Go for the horses that are available, get on them, and just enjoy, gallop, discover, explore. That's what I have to say about that. Don says, I need to go out now. Have a super week. Night, dear. Have a wonderful evening. And talk to you next week. And we have here Adrian says, hello, Mehran. This is Rocky. Yes, Adrian. Back in the ring after a few hits. Okay, good for you. How to get back on track after you get a beat like Rocky. Nothing. Focus on the next match. That's all. Do not keep focus on the match that you got beaten up. That is part of life. It happens. Sometimes you get beaten up. Sometimes you beat up. Just move on to the next one. Focus on the next match. Start training for the next one. Go to places that you can meet people and, meet quality people, and then find out more about them, be friend with them, learn about their consciousness, qualify them if they're worthy of your attention and so on, and then see where it goes. Hey, Adrian says, Adrian 40, Timisoara, Romania, Europe. Okay, good. Remember, guys, you can always go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, and talk to me on Skype. Make an appointment for a Skype consultation, and then I always give you 1 hour extra when you make a 1 hour booking. So we'll have 2 hours to start our discussions for whatever it is that is concerning you. Here we can only talk so much, and obviously right now we talked a lot, and it's time for me to say bye-bye soon after I finish all these. We've got 20 people here. I better bloody hell to see at least 20 or 21 likes, and one extra, I don't know why, because at one time we had 21. And make sure you make comments on the videos that you watch on this channel. We have about 2,000 videos. Anything you can think of after your breakup, we've got a video on it. So all these support is here for you, free of charge. All the live talks are free of charge. And of course, if it wasn't enough, you're always welcome to go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com. Make an appointment for a Skype talk, and we'll consult what's concerning you from all around the world, whoever needs it, on Skype, one-on-one. Luna says, I never saw it in such a perspective, but my, oh my, how it shows how lost my mind had really gotten. Thanks for helping to shift my mindset from the then to the now. Good. Glad to hear that. And hip hop and rap instrument, Rocky says, hopefully the next match is not the Ivan Drago. Yeah. Well, most matches are won and lost before you enter the ring. It's the mentality. So if you think that the next one is a fight, then it will be a fight. But if you think next one is a dance, it will be a dance. Then it's up to you to choose the music and be a good dancer. That's all. Relationship is not a fight. Relationship is a dance. And learning how to dance together is the key of harmonizing it and bring compatibility and bonding on rhythmic movements that you both enjoy. And Hip Hop says, Mehran, You're a top guy. Thank you for all your free videos. My pleasure. I'm delighted that you guys have been enjoying. I'm hoping that you guys will help the channel to be noticed by many others by talking about it, I don't know, on Reddit, social medias, wherever it is that you know how you can do it. Maybe university radio stations, you can put a word in it, maybe university magazines or blogs or whatever it is that you guys can have an influence on. Maybe some local TV or radio stations that they want to interview with us or look at our channel or talk to me. All will help us to put us on the map. If you guys have gotten help from this channel, then I think it's worthy of your attention, your talk, your mentioning it, and get us noticed and put us on the map to reach and help more people. At the same time, make this channel economically viable for me to spend more time to maybe hopefully put workshops physically for people and show and share more than I can do from here, from afar. And Adrian says, I think the last one was Ivan Drago's sister. Probably. And you're lucky to be away from Ivan Drago's sister for sure. Because who knows, looking at him, his sister might not be such a good looker. Could be something to talk about. All right. So it's time for me to say goodbye for this week. And I look forward to talk to you next Friday, 12 o'clock, Vancouver time, which is West Coast, North America. I love you all. Thank you very much for being here, giving me the opportunity to talk about a thing or two and share a thing or two with you. And in the meantime, be good to yourself, to the others, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.